I'm Caitriona Perry in Washington, and this is BBC World News America. The suspect involved in Sunday's apparent assassination attempt on Donald Trump is charged with federal gun crimes. The United Nations' most senior official overseeing aid efforts in Gaza says the catastrophic humanitarian situation can only be fixed with a ceasefire deal. And we look at the status of women's rights in Iran 2 years on from the death of Mahsa Amini in police custody that spurred mass protests. Hello and welcome to World News America. I'm Caitriona Perry. The suspected gunman in Sunday's apparent assassination attempt of Donald Trump has appeared in court. Ryan Wesley Ruth was charged with 2 federal gun crimes, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon and possession of a firearm with an obstructed serial number. The FBI says Mr. Ruth was in the area near Donald Trump's Florida golf course for nearly 12 hours, from between 1:59 a.m. and 1:31 p.m. local time, before the Secret Service spotted him hiding in the bushes with a rifle. Before he could fire any shots, an officer fired several shots in Mr. Ruth's direction, and the suspect fled on foot. Authorities say it was an eyewitness who helped them find and arrest him. Although the investigation continues, the former president has since blamed the Biden-Harris administration for this apparent assassination attempt. Donald Trump told Fox News that Ruth believed the rhetoric of Biden and Harris, and he acted on it. He said, "Their rhetoric is causing me to be shot at when I'm the one who's going to save the country." Since the incident, President Joe Biden has called on Congress to act in providing the Secret Service with more resources, as he says it's clear the agency needs more help. He also reiterated that there was no place for political violence in the US. Well, let's talk about all of this now. We're joined by Jason Russell. He's a former Secret Service agent and founder and CEO of Secure Environment Consultants. Jason, thanks for joining us on BBC News. We're told there that it was the Secret Service agent walking one hole ahead of the former president spotted this rifle through the bushes and intercepted the individual. Was it an effective plan that he managed to spot that individual, or was it a failure that an individual got that close with the rifle? Given that we have seen these 2 incidents and there is quite a tension when it comes to this political race, it's so close as we know, do you expect that we might see more violent acts like this, more political violence? OK, plenty more to come discussing this and the ensuing investigation. But for now, Jason Russell, founder and CEO of Secure Environment Consultants and a former Secret Service agent, thanks for joining us on BBC News.
Thank you.
Now, just a reminder that you can find out the latest on this apparent assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump on our live page on the BBC website and also on the BBC News app. Now, former BBC News presenter Huw Edwards has been given a 6-month suspended prison sentence after admitting charges of making indecent images of children, one of whom was aged between 7 and 9. Mr. Edwards previously pleaded guilty to 3 charges after he was sent 41 illegal images by a convicted sex offender. His lawyer told the court that Mr. Edwards was profoundly sorry and that he recognised the repugnant nature of these images. The BBC said he had betrayed not just the corporation, but also the audiences who had put their trust in him. The United Nations' most senior official overseeing aid and reconstruction in Gaza says the world is collectively failing innocent civilians there after nearly a year of war. Speaking to the BBC from New York, Sigrid Kaag, the senior UN coordinator for humanitarian action and reconstruction in Gaza, described the territory as the most unsafe place in the world to work. Ms. Kaag was appointed 9 months ago to improve the delivery of urgently needed aid. She's been speaking to our chief international correspondent, Lise Doucette, in this rare interview. Women in Iran tell the BBC their online activity has been spied on by the authorities, leading to arrests, threats and beatings. Their testimonies come 2 years after the Women Life Freedom protests, which were ignited after Mahsa Amini died in police custody when she was arrested for wearing the mandatory hijab loosely. BBC Verify reporter Reha Kansara reports, and just a warning, this report does include distressing accounts of violence. Now remember, you can find out all about the day's news on our website, bbc.com/news. But that's it today for World News America. I'm Caitriona Perry. Thank you so much for watching, and do stay tuned here on BBC News. Take care.
Hello. Some parts of Central Europe have seen close to